My vision is packaged ready. We communicated part of it to Nigerians. And my package is a total departure of what we are seeing today. We decided to put it on the table of science and knowing fully well that it is implementable. We are conscious of the environment we are in Nigeria, where if we conceive a policy and then bring it to fruition, in Nigeria, you don't set it for it to just continue to be propagating itself for the common good of the people. Once you have a policy, you should also have a certain policy or guidelines that will make it to be implemented. Otherwise, it will be stopped halfway, particularly if it has to do with the welfare and well-being of the people. This has been the tradition, and we discovered this not because I was served in other governments before, but we have discovered this out of our researches. It took us 5 years, 8 months to have come up with numerous things that are new. So we also have arranged our table. Some will go on its own individually, and some will run concurrent, from security to economic, to some social ills bedeviling Nigeria. We also have an arrangement on Nigeria's international trade and international agreements that we know there are numerous problems therein. So if we look at all this in its sum totality, concurrently also we created new avenues that will generate wealth for Nigeria from the West at home in Nigeria, from abuses of physical budgets in the past and now, and then up to also some certain activities that has to do with helping Nigeria in wealth creation from outside. This we have done, and I know in a matter of a year, Nigerians will understand there is something new. And in 2 years, there will be total departure, and it will be clearly seen, can go to any street and know, yes, there is something new in Nigeria.
What makes al-Mustapha uniquely qualified to be the next president of Nigeria?
You cannot aspire to provide leadership and up until you, one, do your homework. Second, know the environment and the people. Third, know the ills. And the most important is the fourth, which is in Nigeria what is regarded as syndication and groupings. The syndication and groupings of people differs from season to season. This is an election season, for example. There are some syndications that have regrouped with some certain groups, but soon after, the syndications will now separate back to the way they were and continue to destroy Nigeria. Unless you understand this, nothing will work.
If you are elected president of Nigeria, within the first 100 days,
right,
with specificity, what would you have achieved within the first 100 days of your presidency?
Adjustments in the structure, replacement of some certain productive individuals that we know. Some may by now be in their retirement life. We will be governed by patriotism and ability, these two words. The patriotism we identify in some men and women, including some in other opposition parties. But those we identify, once we identify an individual, he or she, to be productive and to have the capacity, and we put him or her capacity on patriotism plate and find it to be fit, and definitely these are the people we are looking for. We are looking for like minds on these two yardsticks to be able to complement, so that tirelessly we shall have people who shall provide or approach in a sequential manner to get things delivered for the common good of Nigeria and Africa.
Why should Nigerians repose confidence in you? Why should they choose you?
There are lots more. For example, there are 18 candidates. Each candidate has by now crisscrossed Nigeria telling them who he is or who she is. There is a lady amongst us. People, by now I'm sure they must have assessed. We have an unblemished record in what we did yesterday. We created and innovated a lot that has touched the life of the poorest of the poor, that has touched the richest of the rich yesterday. These policies are still alive. People are still yearning for them. That aside, our researches and our data bank is full, and people are aware of the numerous assignments we have taken. And they know also from our words. Our words is our bond, they know. We cannot give promises of what we don't have in our data bank or we are not ready to deliver. We cannot talk, no matter how dangerous that policy is, if we are not ready to cross obstacles. So anything you see us pronounce, we are ready to take steps for the people. And I know that is there in the minds of Nigerians. That is what makes the difference.
Now, the big elephant in the room, we're hearing news reports that you have entered into an alliance with a political party. Perhaps you are even endorsing one of your rival candidates for the presidency. What is the situation? What are we hearing? Is it true?
First of all, it is most unfortunate. It is disappointing. It is disheartening. It is illogical from who we are and what we stand for. I didn't join politics to get compromised halfway. I am in this party because of the shared ideology between us and that of the manifesto of the party. All put together, we believe it will be the right combination to render service for Nigeria. To those who collected whatever they collected and came up with that pronouncement yesterday, is to me the most callous thing to do. So I see such persons, including the PDP itself that brought them to the fore, to have come up with that in the air. They have actually done whatever they did, and I call it a scam. And I hope the PDP in itself will look at whosoever they are that contrived this contractual agreement. I had no idea. My running mate was not consulted, was not contacted. We don't know. We had it in the air in the same way you had. And I am the presidential candidate of the party. It is as embarrassing to me as you heard of it in television or radio. With such practices, and whosoever they are, if in election times they can come up with huge lies like this, you can only imagine what they can do if they are saddled with power. If you are not afraid to tell lies, then how much more when you have power? They can create so many to deceive and to derail people's hopes and aspirations in leadership. So to me, it's most embarrassing, most disheartening.
Before we go, do you think the election, the presidential election, will be free, fair, transparent, and credible, and that will meet the expectations of Nigerians?
We believe in making referrals to history. The fear from your question is that of the history of rigging in Nigeria. We know what happened from 1979 to date, including 1999. This time around, the new innovation, from the time the bill was introduced to the acceptance of the introduction of electronic means in collecting results and announcing it from across all polls across Nigeria, it is evident that the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, is ready to make the difference. And if that is the case, we have our confidence in that and in them as they have portrayed, demonstrated in all parts, and we believe we shall see the difference. My prayer is that individual voters can now hit their chest and say, I voted and my result was announced. And we are confident at the end of the day, deliberately from our new style of campaign, going underneath, identifying block voting system, which many politicians in Nigeria don't understand, other than the razzmatazz of going to states on aircrafts. They fly from one state capital to the other without knowing what rural people are all about. They don't understand the burden of urban people. We go by road. We have discussions. We interact with leaders of numerous communities, religious leaders, political leaders, quietly, student unions, farmers, fishermen and women across Nigeria, and this is where the votes are spread. So if you fly on aircraft and you go from one state capital to the other, for some 2 hours you now begin to dance, and then you pay people to surround you, and you believe at the end of the day you have campaigned. To me, I call it directionless razzmatazz that fetches nothing other than jamboree. At this particular time, Nigerians are in pains. Many things are disturbing the general public. They don't need to see a leader who is coming to provide leadership, eating and dancing and singing, at the time hunger, and then the problems, the crunches from shortage of fuel, and then these currency issues, plus the previous ones. You are now dancing, which is to say, you don't even know what the common person is feeling all about. You can never see me go to campaign in such a situation and I dance to music. It shows I don't know what I'm doing. It shows I'm a deceit. It shows I don't even believe in the situation the people are. We are realists. We believe in realism, and that's what we are displaying. We have done our homework, and I am confident that at the worst right now, if election is conducted tomorrow morning, we are sure of 30 million plus. I'm sure of that.